Some people just know how to fly.
The American Broadcasting Company, ABC.
Happy people, people everywhere, people of joy and laughter, people with so much to share, the precious gift of living and being a part of this blessed world. Such a gift can't be bought, and as a flower grows, I see and know the wonder of creation. And in the silence of my room, I shed a silent tear, a tear of joy from my greatest gift is you, dear.
You bought it, Matt. You gotta handle it.
If you buy something at Circuit City, then see it advertised for less, just come back. Our low price guarantee means you'll get the difference.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Last week I bought this.
Plus 10% of the difference.
And today I saw this. Just open the paper and there it was.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Cool.
Circuit City. Guaranteed unbeatable prices.
You're watching TXL-TV 27. And now from Tallahassee's News Channel, Steve Ring, Jennifer Hunt, Justin Kiefer with your weather forecast, and John Peterson with sports. This is the 11 o'clock report.
The great rematch, affectionately called the Let's Do It Again Bowl, is over, and the hometown comes away with a win. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Hunt. Steve Ring has the night off tonight. College football is officially over. Tonight's Sugar Bowl marked the end of the '94 season, and what an ending it was. The Florida State rematch in the Sugar Bowl covered all the action. Trick plays, plenty of scoring, and a rivalry for bragging rights here in the Sunshine State. Remember, Miami lost to Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl, so one Florida team could walk away with a bowl win, and tonight Seminole fans are celebrating. Nole fans were living it up tonight, relishing in this sweet Florida State victory. All over town, fans packed restaurants and bars, sporting their garnet and gold colors and doing the famous Seminole chant. The victory is so sweet, especially after the regular season tie between the Gators and the Noles. Fans wanted a win, and they got it. A big win for the Seminole fans tonight.
The Gators, thank you.
Too bad for the Gator fans. The regular season game is over, and Tom Block will have all the post-game action coming up a little later in sports. Florida and Florida State fans will be hitting the highways to come home, and some may already be on their way. The official holiday period ended tonight at midnight. Florida highway troopers report 12 people died on our roads this holiday period. Georgia Highway Patrol reports 7 people died. Now, both states have less fatalities than last year. There were no fatalities in our immediate area. Despite today's official holiday, workers busied themselves putting the finishing touches on the old Capitol for Florida Jubilee 95. It's estimated more than 6,000 people will turn out for tomorrow's inauguration, highlighted by state leaders taking the oath of office here, beginning at 11 in the morning. Along with the swearing-in ceremonies for the governor, lieutenant governor, and cabinet members will come a mysterious surprise.
We have a surprise up here tomorrow. A big surprise.
Oh, come on.
No, I can't tell you.
Hint. Just a hint.
Hint. It would be a dead giveaway.
Who's it involved?
Well, it's supposed to be a surprise that the governor is going to be surprised about, too. That's something that he asked for.
Not a special trap door or anything.
I guess we're going to have to wait. About 40 student volunteers from Florida High and Leon High schools turned out to help finish preparations for tomorrow's celebration, all hoping to have a hand in Florida history. Now, if you'd like to join in the celebration, here are some of the main events for Florida Jubilee 95. A prayer service kicks off at 8 a.m. at Florida A&M University's Gaither Gymnasium. Floridians who want to go walking with Lawton can accompany him from Jefferson Street between Duval and Monroe to the Capitol at 10:40. Inauguration ceremonies, as we mentioned, begin at 11 in front of the old Capitol. At 1:45, you can again accompany the governor and other state leaders, as well as the Marching 100 and the Budweiser Clydesdales on the trek from City Hall down Adams Street to a street festival. A laser light show kicks off outside the Civic Center at 7 as a prelude to the Gala Music Festival, featuring 16 bands, including the likes of Billy Dean and Bo Diddley. And for those of you who choose to stay at home or cannot leave work for the Jubilee, join us for live coverage of the inaugural ceremony at 11 right here on Tallahassee's News Channel 27. Florida Democrats hit the dance floor tonight. Despite their overwhelming loss at the national level, state Democrats have reason to celebrate. Governor Lawton Chiles held his seat when so many other Democratic governors lost theirs in the '94 election. Tonight, the celebrating has another reason. It's a gala tribute at the Ramada Inn. The Democrats gathered in tribute to Florida's African-American community. And in the heart of downtown tonight, it was the Republicans partying it up. A gala of their own at the Civic Center celebrated 3 GOPs who will be sworn into the cabinet. At the center of the celebration, Secretary of State Sandra Mortham, the new Education Commissioner Frank Brogan, and Florida's new Comptroller Bob Milligan. Bob Milligan is from Panama City, and Milligan was a political unknown up until last year when he defeated longtime incumbent Gerald Lewis in the November general elections. We caught up with Milligan, a military retiree, and asked him today what his plans are as he gets sent to oversee all of the state's banking and financial institutions.
Regulation. Right now, Florida is the only state in the union that has an elected official that regulates banks and securities. And one of my major objectives is to change that. I think there's just too much opportunity for co-opting or abuse of power. And the longer you're in office, the more cozy you become with bankers and so forth, and they pretty much fund your campaign and so forth. So I just think it's a healthy thing to separate that, and I have every intention of moving forward on that just as rapidly as I can.
And Milligan will be in charge of more than 900 state employees as Florida's newest comptroller. Agriculture Commissioner Bob Crawford edged out his Republican opponent by campaigning in the courtroom. But now it appears GOP state leaders are falling short in their effort to use that strategy against him. Late last week, the Florida Republican Party sought an injunction to block Crawford from being sworn in tomorrow for his second term. The party wants the courts to throw out the election based on published reports that Crawford failed to report tens of thousands of dollars worth of campaign contributions. Now, less than 24 hours until the inauguration, it appears those efforts have hit a snag.
We have actually sent a letter to Doc Joyce asking for an investigation, citing specific statutes that appear to have been violated, and we're trying to move forward to have an injunction put in place to keep Mr. Crawford from being sworn in, but given the fact that today's a holiday and tomorrow is the swearing in, and we're not even sure if we have standing in a court of law to have that done, we're just not really sure what's going to happen. It's too close to call, and the window seems to be tightening on us, but we're moving ahead with it, if at all possible.
Republicans say they had hoped to stall Crawford swearing in pending an investigation. Once he takes the oath, even in the event that the race is nullified, the governor would be able to appoint a replacement instead of calling for a special election. Illegal immigration was a hot-button issue in 1994, and it's expected to heat up again this year. John Zarella reports that an initiative like California's Proposition 187 could get life here in Florida.
In much of Miami, Spanish is the language of choice. In other spots, it's Creole. In some schools, special classes are needed for children who don't speak English. In Florida, resentment toward refugees and illegal aliens from Latin America and the Caribbean has been growing for decades.
Refugee off the boat gets more than I do, and they never worked in this country, never paid a penny tax. That's not fair.
According to the INS, 380,000 illegal immigrants will call Florida home this year. That's 1/10 of the U.S. total. State officials say if Cubans at Guantanamo are allowed entry, that would be an additional burden.
I want to keep my state from being overrun again with people that are the federal government's responsibility
Florida sued to get the federal government to pick up the tab for refugee resettlement, education, and medical services. A federal judge rejected the lawsuit. That could give anti-immigration groups added momentum to push for a California-style Proposition 187, which, if implemented, cuts health and educational benefits to illegal immigrants.
I have empathy for these people, but we are paying large amounts of money to educate their children, give them medical care, and so forth.
Others see anti-immigration movements as un-American and the anger misplaced.
There are many things that we should be doing. Well, we should be getting at fraud, we should be getting at abuse, we should be getting at a number of problems and not targeting, little children or people who are sick.
State and local officials in Florida say initiatives like Proposition 187 wouldn't get much attention if the federal government opened its wallet as readily as it opens its arms. John Zarella, CNN, Miami.
Coming up next here on Tallahassee's News Channel 27, a local family is lucky to be alive. Plus, the aftermath. Security has stepped up at abortion clinics all across the country. Stay with us.
Because every picture you trust to Walmart Film Developing is always handled with care. And because we give you a choice of sizes and finishes and number of prints, each at a low Walmart price every day of the week, it's easy to see that while there are lots of places to take pictures,
there's no better place to take pictures than Walmart.
Walmart, always the low price, always.
Imagine the perfect vacation, Florida. And at the center of it all, Kissimmee St. Cloud. Excitement, value, thrills, and affordability. And when you're here, you won't be far from Walt Disney World, Epcot Center, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. Call 1-800-992-KISS and we'll send you a free vacation guide. Come to Florida and stay in the center of it all, Kissimmee St. Cloud.
For 300 years, these men and these horses trained for war. Now, they do ballet in a symphony in white. Kind of gives you hope for the world, doesn't it? The Royal Lippers Honor Stallions.
January 8th, Leon County Civic Center.
Sometimes people just do mean things, and you can't do anything about it. But then, your big brother comes along. I sure like it when he's around. Sometimes I just can't get things to go right. My dad knows how it is. He said he was a kid once too.
When you need somewhere to turn to your family. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Pro-choice advocates are hitting the streets, that after the recent violence at abortion clinics. In New York, abortion rights supporters demonstrated outside a Planned Parenthood clinic. A New York congresswoman is calling for federal marshals to be stationed at all clinics who want them. In Florida, the Melbourne clinic is stepping up their security. Now no one can carry a purse or handbag into the building. 2 U.S. Marshals stand guard at that clinic. Beefing up security comes after abortion-related violence. Saturday, John Salvi was arrested for allegedly shooting up a Norfolk, Virginia clinic. He's also charged with killing 2 people and wounding 5 more at a pair of Boston area clinics. Salvi is set to appear in a Virginia courtroom tomorrow. Some anti-abortion supporters are calling him a hero. 10 people, 7 of them children, are lucky to be alive tonight. They have each other but lost everything else when their mobile home went up in smoke. The blaze broke out on Jackson Bluff. Local firefighters got the call at about 10:15 this morning. No one was hurt, but the family lost their dog and their trailer is a total loss. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. Still to come here on Tallahassee's News Channel 27, putting you on the spot because we care. Plus, what to do with a Christmas tree. We'll tell you how to get rid of the green. Don't go away.
The lift is up where we belong, where the eagles cry.
When the feeling comes, say it with Body Talk.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
share the music of love. In Body Talk, the ultimate romantic collection. Yours from Time Life Music. Get Body Talk. 36 sensuous songs on 2 cassettes for just $14.99 or 2 compact discs for just $16.99. Other sounds of the 80s albums will follow with no commitment to buy. Satisfaction guaranteed.
I go crazy when I look in your eyes.
Say it like you mean it. Say it with Body Talk. Call now.
To order your Sounds of the 80s Body Talk, call 1-800-372-5600. That's 1-800-372-5600. Or send $14.99 for 2 cassettes or $16.99 for 2 CDs, plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Body Talk, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia.
You're watching Tallahassee's News Channel, TV 27.
What goes up must come down, and now that the holidays are over, it's time to take down your Christmas tree. The question is, what to do with them? The city's Public Works Department is taking discarded trees and turning them into mulch. You can put your trees by the street in front of your house for the city's bi-monthly trash pickup, or you can take it to one of the drop-off locations on January 7th. Now here they are: the Killearn United Methodist Church, Myers Park, San Luis Mission, Tom Brown Park, Southside Park, and the Leon County Operations Department. President Clinton is continuing his whirlwind New Year's holiday in his home state of Arkansas. The President and First Lady hit the home ground early this afternoon. It was a rough start. Mr. Clinton was giving a speech to about 200 supporters at the airport, but after 30 seconds, his microphone went dead. Enough for the work. The Clintons spent the rest of the day with friends. Chelsea was back in Washington getting ready to go back to school. The holiday season is almost over, and here's a question about a traditional holiday dilemma: your resolutions. Most of us make them on New Year's Eve. So now you've had 2 days. Our talkback question to you: have you kept your New Year's resolution? Call 894-2727 to let us know, and we'll have the results at the end of the newscast. Coming up next, it's your first work week of the new year. John Gala will fill you in on the forecast. Stay tuned for your work week weather. And later, a holiday tradition full of flowers will take you to the Rose Bowl parade. Stay with us.
She wore blue velvet.
It was the 1960s, and love was in the air. The radio was filled with the beautiful pop music of the Everly Brothers, Patsy Cline, and the Drifters. These great songs never went away, but maybe you've had a hard time finding them. Not anymore. Now they're all here on Sentimental 60s, featuring Bobby Darin,
Beyond the sea.
The Fifth Dimension,
Can't get used to
Andy Williams,
no matter what I try to do. Yes, my heart
Connie Francis. Sentimental 60s has the songs you danced to, the songs you drove to, and the songs you loved to. Capture all of these wonderful memories from the days of innocence and romance on Sentimental 60s.
And honey, I miss you. In September. Don't they know it's the end of the world?
You'll get 40 original hits from the original artists on Sentimental 60s, all digitally remastered to sound better than ever. And don't delay, you won't find this fabulous collection in any store. You'll also get Eddie Arnold,
Crazy.
Patsy Cline,
I'm crazy for feeling.
Al Martino,
So darling,
The
say
Drifters,
the last dance for me. You don't have to say you love me, just speak
To order Sentimental 60s, call the number on your screen or send check or money order. 2 CDs, $26.99. 2 long play cassettes, $19.99. Rush delivery available. Sentimental 60s is not sold in stores. Don't delay. Order now.
John Gala joins us now with a look at your weather for the work week. Now, of course, our work week already started on Monday today. A lot of people had the day off, so they were out enjoying it. It was pretty sunny, kind of nice today.
Well, we had some sunshine. We talked about the possibility of some clearing yesterday. In fact, we didn't get quite as much as we wanted, but the cold weather has filtered in. We talked about that as well. There's more cold weather on the way. Take a look at our forecast for the evening. We have, well, right now, actually, partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 38 degrees, relative humidity 76%, and the winds north at 7. Tallahassee, well, yesterday actually, saw 59 degrees as the high temperature occurred about 3 o'clock in the morning, actually, and then the temperatures fell constantly since then to the low temperature of 40, which occurred just last hour. No rainfall. In fact, one way we have to look at temperatures is using something called a meteogram. And in fact, the red line is the temperature line, and at 3 in the morning, 3 a.m., we reached our high temperature, and when that front passed through that we talked about, temperature continued to fall. The green line shows how much moisture is in the air. When those lines are close together, it's very humid, and when they're far apart, it's very dry. The front passing through brought in colder and drier air, and we'll have another shot of it again tonight. Here's the situation. We thought we were going to get into some clear skies when that front moved through, but what happened was the southern branch of the jet stream, which has been very active this winter season for us, brought in those high clouds and brought in some mid-level clouds as well. Normally, in the wintertime, this southern branch of the jet stream is far to the south, but in fact, it's been very active this winter season. Most of the weather that we normally get in the winter is from the northern branch of the jet stream. That hasn't been the case. What will be the case, though, is that this southern branch and the northern branch will combine together to later in the week produce a pretty good-sized storm, at least for the Midwest, probably bring us some rain for the weekend. Show it to you in just a minute. Here's the situation on radar nationwide. Up in the northern tier states, there are plenty of snow showers. In fact, where there's a west wind coming on shore, Maine has received up to 15 inches of snow and will probably receive some more. Lake effect snow is occurring all along the Great Lakes in association with cold air, and this is the reason why. As cold air goes over warm water, it picks up the moisture if the temperature difference between the air and the water is correct, and it dumps all that snow all along the favored locations on the downwind side of those lakes. In fact, we're going to see probably about 10 inches of snow in the Arrowhead of Michigan and also in some of the other Great Lake areas with favored snow amounts. Another foot of snow expected for them tomorrow. For us, free and clear of rain right now, here's the situation. This frontal system, which passed through and brought us our colder air today, will stall out tomorrow, be a focal point for some rain showers, which will develop as another frontal system comes through. Now, this frontal system is the one that's going to have the very, very cold air, and as it passes through on Wednesday, we can expect to see temperatures possibly in the upper 20s. The southern branch of the jet stream and the northern branch of the jet stream will combine together to produce a large storm, which will eventually come our way for the weekend. Here's the situation. 32 degrees probably for most areas tonight, 38 here in the city and near the shore under partly cloudy skies. Then today, temperatures in the mid-50s with a 30% chance of a rain shower or two, light sprinkles, that kind of stuff. Heading out into the Gulf, light showers, northeast wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with seas 3 to 5 feet and a moderate chop. Looking at your 6-day forecast, a little bit of clearing midweek, much colder temperatures. And we're going to bring in that chance of rain showers again for the weekend. You know, weekends cause rain.
That's what I've heard. That's definitely what we've been through.
Meteorology, it seems like.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
A big day for bowl games and a Heisman winner with a big announcement. Tom Block has all your sports action, including another look at the rematch bowl with reaction from Coach Bobby Bowden and the victorious Noles. Don't go away.
Your local bottler of Coca-Cola, Sing Stores, Gulf 104, and Tallahassee's News Channel 27 want to give you a chance to win a trip for two to the Super Bowl in Miami on January 29th. Shop at Sing Stores now through January 12th. Buy any 20-ounce Coca-Cola product and get your official contest entry form or mail a 3x5 postcard with your name, address, telephone number, and date of birth to the address on the screen. And make sure to listen to Gulf 104 on Monday, January 16th with Pete and Dave in the morning to see if you're the winner. Good luck from Coca-Cola, Sing Stores, Gulf 104, and Tallahassee's News Channel 27.
She wore blue velvet.
It was the 1960s, and love was in the air. The radio was filled with the beautiful pop music of the Everly Brothers, Patsy Cline, and the Drifters. These great songs never went away, but maybe you've had a hard time finding them. Not anymore. Now they're all here on Sentimental 60s, featuring Bobby Darin,
Beyond the sea.
The Fifth Dimension,
The high cost of health care? Everyone has a part in keeping it down. So we took what you like about Walmart and what you want in a pharmacy and put it right inside your Walmart store. The result?
Walmart's pharmacy department.
With professional service and the low price on every prescription.
So next time, bring it here.
Or ask your doctor to call.
Walmart's Pharmacy Department. Your full-service pharmacy right inside Walmart. Always low prices, always Walmart.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel, from the leader in men's hair coloring.
Tom Block joining us now with a look at sports. What a big day for football fans. A lot of bowl games, a lot of action, and Seminoles happy tonight.
Down to the wire. That was
Definitely.
kind of an eerie game from a Florida State perspective because it looked a lot like what they did to Florida. It looked as if the Gators were going to return the favorite. Also was a lot like the SEC championship game. Florida trailed 23-17. They won that one 24-23. Didn't turn out that way tonight for the Gators, though. There was plenty at stake for both teams. The Seminoles were unbeaten in their last 12 bowl games, and they were going for their 8th straight 10-win season. The Gators were playing to restore pride against a team that had beaten them in 6 of their last 9 meetings. They were fighting to forget one disastrous fourth quarter by making a lasting impression in the French quarter. Florida State comes out in the shotgun, and then they run the ball. So take that. We didn't know what they'd start with. They started shotgun and run. Then they go up top. E.G. Green wide open, makes a terrific catch from Danny Cannell, but the Noles would have to settle for a field goal there. It was 3-zip, Mowry with one of his 3 field goals on the night, but the Gators come back with some trickery. Riedel Anthony, true freshman. The reverse, no, he's throwing the ball. It's Jack Jackson who beats Cliff Abraham. That would set up a Gator field goal. Judd Davis between the uprights, and we're tied at 3. Then the Noles go with their trickery. Warwick Dunn was a high school quarterback. Look at that spiral, but they get a gift. Michael Gilmore tips it. Omar Ellison hauls it in. Taunts Fred Weary all the way into the end zone. Yeah, a little jaw on there, and it's 10-3. Here's another look at the catch. Off of Gilmore's helmet. Omar hauls it in, 10-3 Noles. Omar had a big catch later on in that quarter. On a third down play, he tight ropes the sideline, and that would set up this touchdown to Kez McCorvey, who tight ropes in the back of the end zone there. 17-3 as Danny gives thanks, but the Gators were not dead. Some shoddy tackling by the Noles here as freshman Ike Hilliard splits about 4 guys. Derek Brooks gambles, goes for the strip instead of the tackle. The Gators get the long touchdown. It was 17-10 at that point as Florida was hanging on. Then the Noles defense comes up big. They played terrific all night. Darrell Bush forces the fumble. It's recovered by Sean Hamlet, and that leads to Dan Mowry's second field goal of the first half. And at the intermission, it was 20-10. Bobby's boys with a 10-point lead. But in the second half, a case of missed opportunities for the Noles. Devin Bush had an INT for a touchdown, called back due to penalty. Dan Mowry would miss 2 kicks, that one wide right. Corey Fuller had an interception, but it was called back for pass interference. So late in the game, the Gators get a touchdown, but it looks like they fumble, and Fuller comes up with it. That would count as a touchdown, 23-17. So with 2 minutes to go, the Gators have the ball. A touchdown would win it. The blitz from Todd Reboll, and it's picked off by Derek Brooks, who ends his career with the big play. He was a big play guy all throughout. Florida State wins it 23-17, winning the rematch bowl. R. John Peterson has been in New Orleans all weekend long, and he files this report.
Well, thanks, Tom. I just got done talking to Derek Brooks, who, of course, made the play of the game, and he was very satisfied to make one of his biggest plays. In fact, what he called his biggest play as a Seminole in his final game as a Seminole. They also talked a lot about the officiating. I talked to Corey Fuller, that key play in the end zone. They were absolutely livid. The one where he was called for pass interference, could have been one of the key plays in the game, and all the Seminoles very frustrated with the officiating. I just got done listening to Steve Spurrier. In his post-game comments, he talked about the keys to the game being the turnovers, and also gave Florida State immense credit for their play and said, quite frankly, they outplayed us. We got beat by a pretty good football team tonight. So the reaction from the Sugar Bowl is certainly one of joy for the Florida State Seminoles. Talking to a couple of Florida Gator players, including Kevin Cornick from Tallahassee, very disappointed that they end their career with this crushing loss. Reporting from New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl, where the Seminoles win it, I'm John Peterson. Tom, back to you.
Thank you, John. Nice job covering that big game all weekend. Well, earlier this afternoon, another pretty good bowl coach took his team to war against the Mighty Ducks of Oregon.
Joe Paterno had already won 15 bowl games, and a win by his Penn Staters today would be a record 16th in his career. It would also allow his team to state its case as national champion, and they didn't fool around. First play from scrimmage, Kajana Carter didn't win the Heisman, probably could have in another year, though, and he goes 83 yards, busting loose 7-zip as he gets into the end zone. But the Ducks would stay around for the first half as quarterback Danny O'Neill hooks up with his tight end here. It was 7-7. It'd be 14-14 later on, but then Kajana Carter just kept on going. He finished with a huge day, 156 yards total and 3 touchdowns. Penn State wins it 38-20, the final from the Rose Bowl. Now, while Penn State has an argument after an unbeaten season, the chances of them taking the title are actually pretty slim, because this was the scene Sunday night in Miami after Nebraska stunned the football world by slaying a giant in Miami on its own home turf. Cornhuskers' 24-17 win is expected to earn Tom Osborne his first ever national title after years of frustration in the big game. No number 1 team has ever won a bowl game and then dropped in the polls, so when the final polls are released in just a few hours, it should be Nebraska on top. Well, for a change, Notre Dame is nowhere near the top. Yet even with a 6-4-1 mark that would land most teams in the Poland Wheat Eater Independence Bowl, the Irish tradition was enough to carry them to a New Year's Day fiesta with Colorado. Buffalo's trying to win this one as Cordell Stewart would get the touchdown pass there. He had 348 all-purpose yards, did Cordell, including the touchdown run here on the option. Colorado didn't fool around in the first half. They piled it up big, including Rashawn Salam, who had a nice game, and Stewart, 46 yards later, would hook up with a terrific catch by James Kidd, who beats Brian McGee, and that sets up Rashawn Salam for one of his 3 touchdowns. By the way, Rashawn announced after the game he will forego his senior year. The Heisman winner is headed to the pros. Colorado wins it 41-24. Let's check out the bowl scoreboard. Wisconsin over Duke 34-20. Alabama by a touchdown over Ohio State. Southern Cal laughs their way past Texas Tech 55-14, and it was South Carolina by a field goal 24-21 over West Virginia. Now, in that CarQuest Bowl, South Carolina did something that they had never done before in their history. They actually won a ball game. They did it under first-year head coach Brad Scott, formerly an FSU assistant. Steve Tannehill cut his hair, but he's still reckless. Into the end zone, he dives, comes up with a touchdown. The Gamecocks would lead throughout this one. Big play by a former Tallahassee Lincoln star, Ben Washington, right there, who picks off the pass and gets a nifty return. The Gamecocks would end up holding on to win it 24-21, and Brad Scott caps his first year as a head coach with that 3-point victory, the first bowl victory in South Carolina football history.
I tell you, I'm so proud for our players and our fans. These Gamecocks they've waited long enough for this. Our players did a great job. They refused to lose.
Congratulations to Coach Scott. Big win there. Finally today in sports, if we have time, the AP Top 25. Hoops real quick. North Carolina is still number 1. Kansas in at 5. 6 through 10 goes UConn and Maryland, Kentucky, Arizona, and Syracuse. For the first time in a couple of years, Duke is out of the top 10. They're at 11. You see Florida at 13. Out at the Seminole Golf Course and Driving Range, I guess we don't have it, but a big win for the Noles nevertheless, and we will have complete coverage, including all the locker rooms down coming up tomorrow. Terrific ball game.
Fabulous. Thanks, Tom. Straight ahead, find out if your neighbors are keeping their resolutions, plus a new face on Thomasville Road. But it looks familiar. Don't go away.
The hot groups, the hottest hits. Time Life Music brings you Sounds of the 80s, the biggest, hottest collection of 80s hits ever.
Do the walk of life. Yeah, do the walk of life.
Get the hottest songs of the 80s. More than 1 full hour of hits, just $9.99 on compact disc or cassette. Then, audition other great sounds of the 80s albums. There's no minimum to buy, cancel anytime. Call now to get Sounds of the 80s. Here's how to order.
To order your Sounds of the 80s, call 1-800-862-3200. That's 1-800-862-3200. Or send $9.99 for one cassette or one compact disc, plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Sounds of the 80s, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia. Or call now, 1-800-862-3200.
You've had 2 days to make them and break them. Are you sticking to your New Year's resolutions? Now, here's what your neighbors had to say. 30% say yes, they are sticking to their resolutions. 70% have already broken them. Our thanks to all of you who took part in our exclusive phone poll. A different sort of Seminole fan is on display for all to see on Thomasville Road. He started out months ago with just a pair of lips, and today he was decked out for tonight's big game. With war stripes and headgear, this guy is definitely a sight to see. His creator usually changes costumes to fit the holiday, or in this case, the sporting event. And when the sun comes out, we'll all have to go check that out. For now, thanks for joining us and staying up so late. We leave you tonight with a look at one of the biggest and brightest holiday parades, the Rose Bowl. Have a good night.
Museum. There you see the Norton Simon Museum right there. Supposed to be hitting are actually balloons that will be filled with 180 cubic feet of helium during the course of the parade route. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. Close your eyes and hit that sucker. That's what I usually say. Bam! There it goes.